Sam hates the Week 9 slate, but I think I found some hidden gems. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Betting After Dark. We're your hosts, Calvin Timms and Sam Sarl, Sammy Timms, my little sister. We're back with Week 9 best bets, and we've got some good ones. It's kind of a rough NFL week this week, but I think there's some good depth here in some sneaky lines here that we're going to get into in just a little bit. But before we get into that, thank you for following us. If you're a new watcher, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be putting out all kinds of content. We've got the fantasy side, the dynasty side with me and Dale. We've got the betting side with me and Sam. Hopefully next week we'll be able to get a guest on for this one as well, who has a little bit of insight into the college side a little bit more. But we'll see if we can line that up. I don't want to promise anything yet, but we're going to try and get him on here next week. But yeah, we're going to have all kinds of content going year round now, and I'm pretty excited. So you can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Apple, anywhere that podcasts are really found. And you can follow me on Twitter at TDC_Calvin, Sam at SamTims99, and the podcast at FF After Dark. If you have any betting questions, you can hit us up over there. You can hit up Sam. She knows more about betting than I do. Or you can hit me up with any dynasty or fantasy football questions if you have them as well. So if you guys are coming back, thank you guys for coming back again, and we'll get into it here shortly. Sam, how are we doing today?
Doing good. Week 9 is bad for bettors, good for football fans. I feel like everything's pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, it's some bad. There's a lot of teams on bye as well this week. The NFL, in their infinite wisdom, they have another 6 teams on bye this week where they had 0 last week. So, that's great. I don't really understand it, but whatever. But no, you're right. You're right. There's some fun games. You start the day off at 9:30 in the morning with Kansas City, Miami. That's going to be in Germany. That's going to be a fun one. You finish the day with the Bengals versus the Bills. That's going to be a good one. And I even kind of like
Nation.
Yeah, oh gosh. I live in Ohio. I live in Ohio and I don't like the Bengals. Come on.
Yeah, but I don't even know who you like. Bears or the Pats?
Both. And they both
whatever.
suck, so it's terrible. I got my Pats fandom for 20 years and now I'm paying the prices. But now it's going to be a good weekend of football, I think. So before we get into the bets and the lines, we're going to hit those up here in just a little bit. But I wanted to talk about one little topic. We've been talking about these little gems of insight before each episode the last couple weeks. And, this week I wanted to talk about knowing when to cash out your bets early. Because, again, I'm a newer bettor. I don't really know the ins and outs that well. I'm kind of feeling my way around it a little bit. And if you're on DraftKings or I'm assuming FanDuel, I don't know all of them. I only do DraftKings, so for what it's worth. But on DraftKings, while the bets are live, you have the option sometimes to cash out your bet. You can cash it out while you're ahead, and you can just take the profit if you're kind of nervous that it's going to swing the other way. If you bet the under and it's getting kind of close, well, you can cash it out for a profit early and just, take your winnings and go home. Or you can let it ride. Or if you're losing, you can kind of not lose everything. You can lose some of it, but not all of it. So, Sam, when is the best time to kind of think about cashing out? Like, is it ones that you're particularly nervous on, or what? Is it just kind of a gut feel, or how do you look at the cash out system?
So there's a couple different ways, but like all things with sports betting, it's very up to your opinion completely and how you feel. I would say a lot of people go off of gut. The only time that I ever will cash out of something is if I'm watching the game and I'm like, oh, yeah, they're doing okay now, but I don't think they can keep. And you can kind of tell that kind of stuff with different sports, especially football. Just like if team doesn't look like they should.
The momentum and,
Yeah, where they kind of just seem like they're getting lucky with some stuff. I'll also cash out, and a lot of my buddies will cash out if they make some ridiculous parlay, and there's one leg left, but they're up like 100 units.
Oh
Because
wow.
you're in the Discord, so like a lot of them will make these like 15 leg parlays, put $5 on it.
Yeah.
Uh, like 10 of them will hit, and there'll be like a bunch left still. So they'll cash out and they'll get like $50 or something.
Yeah.
So
Nice. That's not
uh,
bad. Not bad.
cashing out for loss hurts, but it's better to
Lose some than all.
yeah, it's better to like get $5 back if you bet 20 instead of losing all 20.
Oh man, this goes back to a couple weekends ago. I think I was following the Discord and they had a college bet and or no, sorry, I got a bet from one of my buddies and it was for a college game and we were the family and I were at another event, right? And don't have the best Wi-Fi there and everything and I'm trying to connect and just check the bets and he told me an over. He said bet slam this over and I accidentally hit the under in the bet. So I bet the under, and I'm like, oh no. And the entire time, it's like looking like they're getting close to it. And I was like, I'm going to cash out.
Mhm.
And I took a loss. I think I lost like, I got out for like 60% of the bet. So, I lost like
Mhm.
40%. And then I took that and I swung it and I went back to the over because it was still decently valued at that point in time.
You
And then,
won.
and then it ended up being an under, so I lost. So
Oh.
I cashed out. I cashed out with a loss. Took all that money, put it on the over, and then the under still hit. And I was like, no. I was
Yeah,
like, I
that
shouldn't
that
have done it.
burns.
I was like, I was so bad. I should have just let it ride. And I was like, I tried to be. I overthought it. This was like week number 1 of betting, but I just found that one hilarious. I was like, oh, I'm so dumb. I'm such an idiot. But no, that was a funny one. So no, cashing out is definitely something that's useful. Knowing when to do it, that's the hardest thing for me. So, if you have any questions on it, make sure you hit us up on Twitter, on YouTube, and we can give you guys some more advice on that. But, I'm trying to learn, trying to get better about this whole betting thing. So far on the season, I'm up $160, so 16%
Good.
return in a month. That's not bad. It's better than the stock market right now, so can't complain.
Yep.
But
I hope you're learning too, just like with a lot of it. A lot of it is cut.
a lot of it is, yeah. That's where I find like a lot of the bets. We're trying to give you the best bets here on this podcast. I'm not hitting all of them the way that I want to, but part of that's kind of learning where the lines are and where the good lines are, and that's where I have a little bit more inexperience with that, right? But I think I'm learning a little bit. But where I've been really killing is like just making a on the fly parlay for a game, like right before it starts. Last weekend, I bet, or just last night, for example, I bet Derrick Henry, a parlay with basically Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry anytime touchdown, Derrick Henry over the yardage, and like I think I had him over the receiving yards as well. And it was like a Derrick Henry bet, and it hit for like plus 350 or whatever it was. So it was good, but those are the ones where I'm finding the most success is just the on the fly ones where I'm kind of turning my brain off, like in terms of deep analytical thinking, which kind of scares me a little bit, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. It's fun. The main thing is you gotta be having fun with it.
Yeah. That's
You don't want it to
you're
be a
right.
job.
No, that's right. And, again, we're just trying to promote some safe betting where we're not going to be 100% on here, but we're trying to just have some fun bets so you can follow along with us and, play some bets and make
For
some
sure.
money. So that's the whole goal of this
Sure.
podcast. And yeah, we're not treating it like a job by any means whatsoever. So that said, let's jump into some game line bets that we have, and we're kind of doing the new structuring format for this. So we broke it down by game line, passing, rushing, receiving, parlays, things like that. So going through game line specifically here, I've learned on last week where I have a couple of units in there for each one, trying to give the ones that I feel more confident about a little bit more of a bet. So we'll talk about that here today. But I'm still trying to learn the limit, I guess. I saw yesterday somebody said bet like 10 units on a hockey game, and I was like, dude, 10 units is a lot of units. Like that's a lot to bet on a hockey game. You know what I mean? So maybe it's the fear part of it, but it's just learning those limits is kind of scary. But I got a couple units extra on some of these games. So you got any game line bets you want to kick us off with?
Yeah, so the first game line bet I have, and some may call it bias, but I'm on the Bengals.
I wanted to bet the Buffalo Bills money line so bad.
Yeah, but hear me out. So this is why I do like the Bengals. Someone
Because you're
shared
a fan?
earlier. No, 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 no. Because if they lose, it hurts twice as much, right?
Fair.
If the
Yeah.
Bengals
Yeah.
lose, I'm sad because my team lost,
And you
and
lost
I
money.
just lost money. Yeah,
Yep.
but I like the Bengals because prime time Josh Allen, I do not think is like Josh Allen looks different this.
The whole offense does kind of look a little bit different. You're not wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't feel so dominant as what it was. Now, don't get me wrong, like they have so many dominant weapons, but I don't think they're synced. And
Uh-huh.
any NFL fan is probably following all the memes, but like we're over the first couple games for Joe Burrow to be absolute trash.
Yep.
And so just like that, he put on his Tom Brady helmet and he's about to dominate.
Right. No, he's looking
So
good. He is definitely looking
yeah,
much, much better. I actually have two parlays for this game specifically. We'll get to later, but
yeah. So
I'm with you. I like this game.
I think Joe Burrow and in this situation, like Josh Allen just never looks composed to me. And I
Right.
think Joe Burrow is very much at that point. Like he's Joe Cool again. He's leading the team one
Right.
touchdown at a time.
Yeah, he definitely feels
So
like it for sure. You're not wrong.
yeah, and so somebody shared earlier like the I forget exactly what it was, but said something about the Bills being like 5-4 for something, and then
They're 5-2 or 5-1 in prime time, like in Sunday Night
oh yeah,
Football,
yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah,
Bengals are
yeah,
like 0-8 or something like that.
or 0-9.
Oh
But
9.
let's think about who the Bills have been playing in
Oh yeah,
prime
for
time.
sure, for sure. No, you're not wrong.
In those games, they're
Those
like
stats are always so
hanging
stupid
on.
too. Like,
Yeah, they're hanging on by like the hair on their chinny chin chin.
right?
Right? They almost lost to the Jets. They almost lost to
They
the
did lose to the Jets,
Giants.
didn't they? They lost to the Jets
Oh yeah,
earlier
yeah,
this
yeah,
year.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. They lost to the Jets. They almost lost to the Giants. That game was so pathetic.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I don't think the Bills are that in sync. I think that, like I said, they have really good weapons. I just think that the Bengals are more composed and more of like everything they do at this point in the season just seems so like effortless for them.
yeah. That's fair. That's
So
definitely fair.
I'm on the Bengals. I'm really excited for that game.
What's the odds?
Really excited.
What's the odds on that right now? You
So
know,
that's at -130.
-130. That's why I like the
Mm,
Bills. They were +110. I do kind of
right.
like that a
Yeah,
little
I could
bit,
see it.
but
That's
just for
so
the
much of
plus
this
money.
week
But
though too.
yeah,
Right.
I know it's crazy. It is
That's
crazy.
so much of this week.
All right. So I have a couple. Do you have any more game line bets?
I do, the Rams. I don't know if you had that.
I do not. No.
Okay, so the Packers are favored by like -170. The Rams are +142. The Packers, this is coming from my two teams are the Bengals and the Packers.
Yeah.
The Packers are not good.
They are not, but the Rams
They
might
got
not have
lucky.
Stafford. That's the only thing that scares me with them.
I know, but I still think that like Jordan Love just looks really bad right
Yeah.
now. And I don't think like I think the Rams still have enough weapons that they could pull it off, and for +142,
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
good
like that's
odds for sure.
really good odds.
Yeah, there's
That's
quite
all
a
I
few of
have for
those.
money lines though.
There's quite a few of those. You're not wrong. Like the Cowboys +136, the Panthers +114, like the
Yeah.
Giants +114. Like there's a lot that they're
That's just what
they're what you call the sweaty bets, right? They make me
yeah, it's
nervous,
like you said.
but
It's a sweaty week.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I only have one money line, and this is going to be Kansas City against Miami. I got it at -110. It's kind of swung a little bit now. It's -122, so I might be on the Dolphins now at +102. That's pretty good odds for that. But yeah, I think Kansas City's going to win this game. I just think that they're the better team, and Miami, they've kind of struggled a little bit in the prime time. Like look how they played against the Bills, how they've played
Yeah.
against. Didn't they just play like the Bengals? Who was it? Or
Prime time?
who did the Miami Dolphins play like last week? I forget who it was.
I thought they were the primetime game.
Miami?
Yeah.
Who did they play,
Yeah.
though? That's why I was saying.
Was it like the Cardinal?
No. Let's see.
I'm not touching that game. Personally, I'm not touching that game.
I just
want
like the
Kansas
Chiefs to
City to
win.
lose.
That's all I'm saying. Like, that's all I'm
I
saying.
hope they lose.
The Chiefs?
Oh yeah, I hope they lose so bad. But
they
hate
just
Patrick
lost to the
Mahomes.
Eagles 2 weeks ago. That's who it was. So when they play the
Yeah,
top
yeah.
teams, the Dolphins kind of just seem to struggle a little bit, and that's why.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but are the Chiefs really a top team? Like,
Yes, I definitely still think they're a top team.
okay, all right. I kind of put my mouth there. Yes, they're still a top team, but
Right.
I mean, if Patrick Mahomes is not on, the Chiefs aren't winning.
Right, but he was sick this last weekend, and I think with a week of rest, I think he'll be much better. I know that they're in Germany, so we'll see if that kind of impacts it a little bit, but no, I do think that they had a loss last weekend. I'm not betting on the Chiefs to lose back-to-back games. I'm just not going to do it. So,
I would love it so much.
it'd be fun for actual football, but I'm just from a betting standpoint, the Chiefs they have to be the pretty high to be barely favorites. It's just too good to pass up, in my opinion.
But they lost to Denver.
I know, but it's a divisional game.
And it
it's
wasn't even a 2-point game.
I know. A couple other game line bets that I do like. I like Atlanta under 37.5. I got that earlier at -108, which I thought was a steal because this game's going to be a nightmare. Minnesota, they lost Kirk Cousins. I don't remember what the name of the guy that they're going to have starting is. Atlanta, they're like 29th or 30th at this point in team scoring. Taylor Heineke's taking over, but I just think that this is going to be a very low scoring game. I don't think Minnesota's going to be able to get many points, and 37.5 is still decent. That's like 21-17. Like, that's a lot of points and a lot more than I think they're going to score. So -108 odds on that. I hit that with 1 unit for both of those, by the way. And then Dallas over 47. I think that this one's going to turn into a shootout a little bit, and this is only -110 for the over here. Maybe you want to hedge it a little bit and do 47.5 or 46.5 just so you're not pushing, but over 47, I think that this game's going to turn into a little bit of a shootout. Look at Washington just last week, right?
Eagles. I'm also thinking that.
Yeah, it was just.
I also had that.
20-27 is the implied projection, or 24-23. Like, that's just, it's too close. Like, I think that it's going to be more points than that. So I hit the over there. And then the last one that I did like a lot, and I did a free $5 bet on this one. So, I'm not really putting a ton on this one, but the Houston versus Tampa Bay game, I like the quarter/full-time bet while you can get it. And the quarter full-time bet is Houston wins the first quarter, Tampa Bay to win the game. And it's +650 odds. Tampa Bay is their 32nd team in terms of points in the first quarter, and they are very high for the rest. They start extremely slow for this team. They haven't been playing the best the last couple of weeks either, but I don't think Houston has enough firepower to win this game. Like, I like Houston. I think that they're turning the corner, but I still think that they have a little bit of ways to go. I think they're going to start off pretty hot in this one, and then they're going to fall. I think that the defense for Tampa Bay is going to be able to adjust in the second half. You couple that with the slow offensive performances we've seen from them pretty much all season long. I really like this at +650. So again, I put a free $5 bet on it for pretty good odds there at +650. So what do you think about that one, by the way?
Yeah, I like that bet a lot. I like when things get broken up in quarters. I think there's a lot of money to that stuff.
Do you think that Tampa Bay can win this one? Because if you do, I like Tampa Bay a lot because they're +136 to win this game. They're +3 underdogs. Like, that's crazy to me. Houston should not.
I mean, it depends.
What has Houston done to prove that they can beat the Bucs, though?
Well, but what have the Bucs done to prove they can beat Houston?
They score a lot more points than what Houston's being able to put up
prevent
themselves. You know what I mean?
or put up. Okay. Well, I think a lot of people have so much faith in CJ Stroud. Is it a home game?
Texans are at
Like
home. Yes.
Texans are home. That always favors into stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I
I
think a
don't
lot of people just count on like if Baker Mayfield's not doing well, then the Bucks aren't gonna do well.
That's true, but I mean, he played fine last week. I mean, I just think that I think it's a little
But yeah,
crazy, but you know
but
what I
like
mean?
him as a quarterback, he's so sporadic. He's so
Yeah.
random.
Yeah.
You never know what you're gonna
I
get.
mean, last week against Buffalo, he had 25 completions for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns against Buffalo. I would say Buffalo has a better defense than Houston at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
they
mean, I don't
barely
know.
lost that game. So I don't know. I just think that it's a very winnable game for Tampa for sure.
Definitely. The only other game thing I had was the Ravens spread, which is at -6
Okay.
for -110.
Yeah. Do you like the Ravens -6?
I do because I think that the Seahawks are just extremely overrated. I think the Ravens are hot.
Their
They're
defense
kind of
is
flying.
insane. They have the best
They're
defense in the
flying
NFL.
under the radar. Like they're
Yeah.
not getting a lot of attention. And so I really think that this could be another Ravens blowout.
Possibly. You're not wrong. The thing that scares me a little bit is Seattle's defense has been very good this year.
It
That's why
has,
they're
and
in all these games, but
right? And following something like that, I didn't look at the odds or anything, but a good bet to look at would be Lamar Jackson interception. Because they've
yeah.
got some nice
Or fumble recovery.
cornerbacks.
They like to turn it
Yes.
over a little bit there in Baltimore. They fumble quite a bit, but
Yes, yep. Yep. But I don't know. I feel like the Ravens could win this pretty easily, and if they do, it's going to be by more than a field goal.
yeah. I mean, yeah. You
It'll
could
be
take the
by a
alternate spread
touchdown
if
or
you
more.
wanted to be a little bit safer than 6. 6 is a
Yeah.
lot, but you could do like, dude, I told you about this. I got roasted last night because I did Tennessee plus 3.5 and they lost by 4. I was like, God bless it. Like, even the alternate.
Though.
It's
That's
tough.
tough, though.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
know.
hard things because you don't think about it as far as if one team gets 2 touchdowns
And 2 field goals.
and and 2 field goals, and then the other team gets two touchdowns and a field goal, like
Yeah.
or
It
however,
was
whatever.
3 field goals and a touchdown.
But that happens a lot in football where
Yeah.
like it's a 4-point game.
I
People
know.
don't
That's why.
think
Well,
about
that's
it.
why the spread was plus 3 for Tennessee, and I was like, I'll take 3.5. I'll swing to the other side of that, and still lost. And I was like, dang it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. A couple field goal bets that I like this week that I really want to slam. Again, this is the 2 games that I've already talked about. Kansas City, Harrison Butker over 1.5 field goals. I'm putting 2 units on this game, minus 105 odds. Harrison Butker, when you look at his kicking this year on the season, and I'm doing deep kicker analysis here, but Harrison Butker, he has 2 games on the year where he has less than 2 field goals. So out of 8 games, he's hit it 75% of the time. So I like the odds quite a bit at minus 105. It's pretty much even money right there anyway. So I'm putting 2 units on that. And then the other one is Kaimi Fairbairn with the Houston Texans over 1.5. Same thing for him. He has literally never gotten less than one. His minimum is 2 on the season in every single game that he's played. So I like it quite a bit for him. So every time they attempt a field goal, he's making at least 2 a game. So that's minus 120 odds. I'm putting 2 units on that as well.
In DraftKings, field goals, and that's combined with defensive props.
Yes, under defensive
So
special teams. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't have any like kicker props, but for defense, for the Browns game, Myles Garrett over 0.75 sacks is at minus 150.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like a deal for me because like
0.75
the Cardinals
sacks, you're saying?
Yeah, so he can either get a sack by himself or sometimes they give like 0.25
right.
like if they
Yeah.
assist. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that he could do that pretty the Cardinals. Murray's not back, right?
He's going to the game. He's questionable.
Okay. If because they got rid of what's his
Dobbs.
nuts?
Josh Dobbs.
Dobbs, yeah. They got rid of Dobbs, and he did pretty well, like dodging the sacks.
Yep.
I think somebody who's
Clayton Tune is a rookie, so if he's starting, this is going to be an easy slam. Right. But yeah, if it's Kyler, that's where it gets sweaty. But
even then too, if it's Kyler, like, is he really going to be that in tune for how long he's been out?
I don't know.
For Myles Garrett,
I don't know.
That's the thing.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But
so yeah, I'm kind of I'm rolling with that. I'm not putting a lot on it because it's not great odds, but I liked it.
Fair enough. Anything else, or are we gonna get into the player props?
Player props. I only have quarterback in.
Quarterback, really? I'm heavy on the rushing this week. So, all right. So, who's your quarterback prop you got then?
I have 3 of them. You want me to just do all of them?
Sure.
Okay, so Josh, I love quarterback props though. That's like one of my favorite things.
Yep.
So Josh Allen over 0.5 interceptions at -135.
Uh-huh.
I like that a lot. Primetime Josh Allen is so prone to throw interception. It's insane. I think he just gets very careless with the ball, and I think Bengals will have the pressure to where he'll throw some of those dumb passes.
They've got a good secondary too, so I could see it.
Yeah, they have a pretty good secondary. Another thing is Joe Burrow under 14.5 rushing, which is at -130. I think he's only hit that number once, and it was last week.
Yeah,
I
don't
see
43
him doing this.
rushing yards last week.
Yeah, and he doesn't rush.
No.
He doesn't rush. So I don't think he's going to rush this week. I think primetime games are always a little bit more stressful, I think, for teams and quarterbacks especially. So I think he's really going to play into his Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty attitude and really sit back.
Yeah, try and dice him up a little bit more, you're saying?
Right, and it's at -130. And those two are beautiful to put in a parlay together for plus money.
Yeah, and just to go back to your Josh Allen, he's thrown an interception in 4 straight games. He's thrown an interception minimum of 1 in all but 2 games this year, so 6 out of 8. So he's turning the ball over a lot this year. It's pretty crazy.
Like his first game, he threw like 4 interceptions.
3, yeah.
Yeah. That's insane. And then the last quarterback prop I had was Sam Howell over 1.5 touchdown. This is at +120 odds.
Yeah, it's because it's the Patriots. It's scary,
I know. But it's also like if Sam Howell comes out hot, this is easy for him.
Yeah.
Very easy. What I would love from a fantasy perspective is for him to throw every single one to Terry McLaurin.
Scary Terry.
That'd be nice.
Yep.
So yeah, I like the odds for that a lot.
Fair enough. It's not bad odds. That one scares me. I think like that one could turn into a shootout, but I'm just that as a Patriots fan, you just never know what to expect from this team. It's just so up and down. So I had one passing prop today, and it's 1 unit on this. Dak 275 plus 275 yards at +135 odds. So again, we kind of think that this is going to turn into a shootout. We're talking about taking the over in the Eagles Cowboys game, and the Eagles secondary is bad. Like Sam Howell chopped them up last week. We're just talking about Sam Howell. They threw for so many yards on this Eagles secondary, and this is the game of the week. They're in Philly, but Dak always has these weird games. It's the only thing that scares me is Dak's just going to Dak himself into just they have these really good games where they just absolutely destroy somebody, and then Dak just completely disappears next week. It's like, you don't have to use it all in 1 week, man. You can like spread it out, right? But at +135 odds, if this turns into a shootout, I felt pretty good about that one.
Yeah, we'll see. 275 is a lot for any quarterback.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. 300 used to be like the standard. Like, I don't understand what the heck is going on.
Yeah, I know, but now it's you're betting like 275 for.
I know. He's only done that once on the year. He's only done it once on the year, and it was last week against the Rams. But again, I think the secondary here, they changed things up a little bit in the bye. they had the bye. He throws for 4 touchdowns, 304. Like, I could just see them getting more guys involved in this offense, and against a weak secondary for Philly. I'm not betting he does this every week, but just this week specifically, I kind of like it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him doing what you said, like what Dak does. And I could see him trying. I could see the Eagles coming out very dominant, scoring a lot, and him trying to keep up with it and making dumb moves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not betting that they win the game, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
no,
we'll see. So let's go into receiving first.
Well,
because
hold
I
up.
have a
Let's go to rushing real quick, and then we'll get to receiving.
No, let me do receiving because I have one receiving and it ties with the Cowboys game.
All right, fair enough. Good.
So for receiving, the reason I don't think Dak's going to have a good game, you guys already know. So I'm taking Brandon Cooks under 37.5 yards.
Interesting.
It's at -115. This has hit once this year. Brandon Cooks is never Dak's first look.
No.
Ever.
But again, it happened last week. I just want to point this out real quick. It happened last week after the bye.
That's right. But the Cowboys aren't a back-to-back team.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
They don't. Those guys don't perform well back-to-back.
Agreed. 100%.
And I don't think Brandon Cooks, like Dak Prescott, sure, he could. I see him hitting 275 more than I see Brandon Cooks getting 38 of those yards.
Yeah. You know what I figured out over the last couple of weeks since we've been doing this? Like, you don't like doing the anytime touchdown bets. I hate doing unders. I hate it because it just takes one play to bust your under. And it's like, it makes you engage the entire game. So it's kind of fun that way. But I hate under bets. Like, I hate them so much because all you have to do is get the over and you're done. You know what I mean? Like, you get to wash your hands and walk away the entire time. You're just like, please don't pop off one run. Please don't pop off one run. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I get it, but I don't. Like, Brandon Cooks is washed, in my opinion. He did it last week, and he literally got 43.
Yeah.
So
49. But,
yeah. 49, yeah. So, yeah, I don't see him doing it again. He's
What's
not,
the line? 37?
Under 37.5, yeah, for 115.
Okay. Yeah, I could see it.
If anything, it's CD getting 120 yards.
I could see that
Something
as well.
Crazy.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. So I'm hoping for my Dak 275, but I like it. It's a little bit of a head-to-head this one in this game. So
it is. That's probably why we're so at each other for it.
Yeah.
Oh, and also I'll do my last random one just because it goes with the Cowboys and Eagles.
Sure.
This is in game props, I think, but it's each team to score 1 touchdown in each half.
Oh,
for the Cowboys and Eagles, and that's at +130. There's a lot of money that can be made in these bets.
Yeah, you gotta just find the ones that are sneaky like that.
Well, and that's the thing too is it doesn't have to be a passing touchdown. It doesn't have to be a rushing touchdown. It can be either.
Yeah.
And both of these teams are very capable of doing that.
Yeah, 1 touchdown and you could also do the 1 touchdown, 1 field goal as well. That's probably a good one you could pair that.
Yeah.
Parlay those two together maybe.
Well, and a lot of times they already parlay it for you, but I tell you what, the 1 touchdown, 1 field goal in each half for both teams. A field goal almost always gets you.
Yeah, no, I'm saying in the game, the 1 touchdown, 1 field goal by each team in the game. That bet, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
There's a bet for that. There's one for each half, and then there's one for the whole game. I would take the whole game one, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 field goal for each team in the game. I think that's doable. But it could screw you at the same time. It definitely could screw you. So,
watch there be 2 touchdowns.
I know. This game's going to be 3-6 or something stupid.
Yeah.
All right, my 1 receiving bet that I have for this week is going to be Hunter Henry 40+. It's the alternate yards. Now, this one again, he hasn't hit it in a while, but I just have a feeling, you look at the Washington Commanders. They just traded Montez Sweat. They just traded Chase Young. This defense is bad. Basically, they've already kind of low-key confirmed that Ron Rivera is going to be out of a job after this year because he did not want to get rid of either one of those players. and the owners said, no, we're selling them. So we're kind of committing to a rebuild. So after the season, it's kind of unconfirmed, but confirmed that Ron Rivera is going to get fired and they're going to move on from him. So he's kind of playing with little regard at this point, and I just feel like this game could turn into a shootout for the New England side, where Washington's going to be throwing the ball a ton because their defense stinks. They're going to have to just throw nonstop, and they've shown games where they can do that, and then New England's going to have to keep up. And luckily, Washington's defense is very bad. Now you look at the New England side, what's his name? I forget the name of the player. He just, our number one, Kendrick Bourne. He just tore his ACL. He's out. We lost Devontae Parker for this week. So we're down 2 of our top receivers in a bad receiving core already. And Juju Smith-Schuster can't stay healthy. Hunter Henry, when the Patriots have won, has been very involved. You look at the first 4 weeks of the season, he had 56 yards, 52, 17, 51. After that, the last 4, he's had no yards, 7, 27, 28. They need to get him involved. This is a bad defense that they can get him involved against. And, the odds are plus 160 for him to go for 40 plus yards. I just think it's kind of the perfect match made in heaven of good value, and they need to do it. And I think that they will do it this upcoming week. So I like the odds on Hunter Henry, 40 plus receiving yards in this one.
Good.
All right, a couple other bets for rushing that I have, and that's 1.5 units, on Hunter Henry, 40 plus yards, so 1.5. And then the rushing bets that I had for the week, JT over 66.5 yards, rushing yards, minus 115. The Carolina Panthers are giving up 5 yards per carry on average. They are the worst team against the run in the NFL, and the Colts are good. They are very good at getting these guys in space. JT's getting back to where he was, and I think that they're going to use him quite a bit. So I put 2 units on that. I think JT's going to have a great week. He had 99 yards last week, and he busted off like a 65-yard run. That's his entire rushing line right there, and I think he can do it again. I like Moss in the same game, over 43.5 rushing yards at minus 115. Again, the Panthers, the way to beat them is on the ground. And I think both of these guys are going to get enough carries that they're going to be able to pop off some good runs. And, 10 yards between the two of them feels very, very doable. And then the last one, that's only 1 unit on Moss. And then the last one is going to be Breece Hall, 70 plus rushing yards at plus 145. The Chargers cannot stop the run very well this year. And the Jets, their win condition is basically Breece Hall to pop off big runs. So, and Breece Hall is very explosive. So you get the guy the ball and he can just chunk you. So 70 plus receiving yards for Breece feels like a lot, and it might be, but I like that odds against the Chargers, where I think that this one's going to be low-key kind of a closer game than people kind of expect, but we'll see. But yeah, Breece Hall has been down the last couple weeks, but they played Philly and the Giants, both very good rush defenses. The last time he played a bad rushing defense was in week 5 against Denver, had 177 rushing yards. So you give him a bad matchup on the ground, and he's gonna just absolutely eat. So I like Breece Hall a lot.
Yeah, I like those. It would be really cool to see. I told one of my coworkers this because we were talking about NFL and who our favorite teams were, and I was like, well, I'm a pretty big Bengals fan now, and I've always liked the Packers, and I said, if the Colts are playing, I'll probably root for them, but you'll never see me in Colts blue. Except maybe an Anthony Richardson jersey, because I just am not.
Yeah.
Because you know how we are. We love to rep our favorite sports team. I just don't think I could get on that ever since what they did to Manning. But it's cool to see because I think there was a statistic the other day where the Colts have been through 10 different starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
The last couple years.
Yep.
So to see them have these Moss break out and Taylor to be so focused on the team after the Colts kind of did him dirty.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to see. I hope they pop off as a rushing.
Yeah.
They already have, but I hope they can maintain it.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say, Shane Steichen, the new head coach for the Colts, like he came over from Philly, and Philly was a very dominant running team, and it seemed they're still good. Don't get me wrong, Philly's still great, but Shane Steichen brought that over to Indianapolis, and even when Anthony Richardson was healthy, he was chunking people on the ground. So this team has been able to generate those yards, and you give them the 30-second run defense team. I have a feeling it's gonna be a log day. So
I'm hoping too, like just for Anthony Richardson and Colts fans' sakes, that they can keep Taylor and Moss for next season. And
well, Taylor they signed to a 4-year deal, so he's good for a while. Moss is a free agent after the year, but yeah.
Yeah. So just because if they can get Anthony Richardson focusing on the pass game,
yeah,
the Colts are a different team.
Yeah, they could be really good really quick. So, it's fun to root for them, kind of in the background, but don't want to openly root for them because I would never do that. All right, I got a couple of bets for you guys, a couple of parlays. I already bet one. I bet both of these. They're no sweat. I use my no sweats. The nice thing with DraftKings is if you log in every day, they give you one free no sweat bet. So you can use one today if you're listening to this today and one tomorrow before the game starts. So you can kind of do them for free essentially. But I have two of them for the same game. So one is the Bengals side, one is the Bills side. The Bengals parlay is Joe Mixon over 61.5 rushing yards, Joe Burrow 275 plus passing yards, and Joe Burrow over 1.5 touchdowns. So the Mixon yardage is minus 115. Burrow 275 plus is plus 115. Again, like you said, I think he's back to Joe Cool, and they're going to be able to pass on a weak Buffalo secondary right now. And again, you tie that in. I think it's going to be a Burrow day, and I like that. He's going to get multiple touchdowns through the air in this one. It's minus 166 for that. So, Vegas kind of agrees that he's very favored to get multiple passing touchdowns, but you package all those together and it's plus 455 odds. So it felt very nice to they're safer bets, except the only one that's plus money is the Burrow yardage. But again, I think that they're going to be able to throw quite a bit in this one. T. Higgins is finally getting healthy, and I think this is going to be a fun one.
He's got so many weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, if Burrow's back, Burrow's back.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we talked about earlier, 300 yards for Burrow should be like a weekly thing, but it's kind of been a good defensive year this year for a lot of these guys. But my no sweat for the other side, though, I also like Josh Allen to have over 1.5 passing touchdowns at minus 145 odds. So again, Vegas kind of agrees that this is going to be more of a passing attack. I know that the Bills just got Leonard Fournette, but I don't think he's going to be fully up to speed just yet. But with that, I think that they're going to have to pass the ball a lot to stay in this one. So I like Gabe Davis over 42.5 receiving yards. And then Dalton Kincaid over 38.5 receiving yards. So it's minus 145 for the touchdowns, minus 115 for Gabe Davis yardage, and minus 125 for Kincaid yardage. You package all that up and it's plus 450. So, both of these are nice, like plus 450, plus 455. I like that a lot because they feel safer in terms of parlays. They're not like one leg is likely, parlay is almost one leg always kills you, but these ones, it's like, which one is it going to do it? I don't feel like any of them are outlandish by any means. You know what I mean?
If anything, it'll be like Mixon.
I know, right? Like the Mixon yardage, but he's been killing it. This Bengals team is.
But all it takes is one game. That's what sucks with betting.
I know. Yep.
You're like, statistically, this person has the past couple of games, and then they end up having that off statistical game, and you're like, that's the one you bet on. You're like, well.
Yep. I'm with you. And then I did have one last parlay, and I used this. If you're on DraftKings, again, they gave you one 30% NFL boost, like super parlay boost or whatever it's called. Perfect parlay or whatever. But it's it's a variable boost. It depends how many legs you have, but This one was a 30% boost because I have 5 legs on this one. And this one's a risky one. It's only a $5 bet that I threw on this one. But I think if I win, I get like $120. So whatever. We'll see what happens. But going back to the Tampa Bay Houston game, again, I like that this team, I think this game's going to be a little bit more of a shootout than people want to admit. So I have Stroud plus 225 passing yards at minus 215, Mayfield 225 plus passing yards at minus 190. Paired that with Godwin over 58.5 receiving yards at minus 115. Mayfield and Stroud both over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So both of them to get 2+ passing touchdowns, plus 124 and plus 110 on those bets. You pair all of that together, it's like plus 800 something. You add the 30% boost, it's 1,040 plus 1,050. So very nice, like good big bet, but it's a little bit riskier. But again, I only did it because I had that 30% boost on it. So, tried to figure a fun one that again it's very risky with 5 legs. I get it. But I mean, you look at the odds on it, it's very low risk in my opinion, because I think that all of these are very likely to hit. If anything's going to kill me, it's going to be the Stroud touchdowns, but we'll see what happens there. So.
Oh, though, because he didn't have the best week last week. So
Right.
I'm thinking he could have a good bounce back.
That's what I'm hoping for, especially against Tampa. You can throw on Tampa really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's just so like focused too. I feel like he probably worked really hard in practice to like get back to that.
Yeah, and Tampa's defense, it's really good against the run, and it's really bad against the pass. Now, they're really good in the red zone, but I think that Nico Collins, Tank Dell, these guys could score from, 20 plus yards out. They're good enough that they could pop off in this one. Now, it does scare me a little bit that Stroud's a rookie going against these guys, but at the same time, Stroud has looked very, very good. So maybe you want to take a Stroud interception in this one, but at the same time, I think that it's very likely that he's going to have the yardage. Whether he can get the touchdowns, that's the scary part. Same with Mayfield against the Houston defense, but I like his odds a lot more than Stroud's for this one. And he's the higher odds of plus 124 for Mayfield to have 2 passing touchdowns. But I could see him getting a dump off to Rachaad White and then another touchdown to Mike Evans in this one again. So.
I mean, it's like we said earlier, it's a sweaty week.
Yeah, but this one's just a fun one too. Like, I like this game a lot and I wanted to bet it. And, I don't really want to do $25 on this one for 5 individual bets. So might as well just do one $5 bet and just parlay them all together. I wanted to have a little bit of fun with this one. So that was the intention behind this one right here. But
nice.
Any last bets for you, or are you good?
No, I'm good. He always asks me at the beginning of the talk to each other if I've got any parlays, and I usually don't. Like I said, if I'm gonna parlay something, I'll parlay a lot of the picks that I share, and but then I'll straight bet them as well. But also, like the morning of, if you guys follow us on Twitter and all that, I like to post my parlays because lines change like crazy. So if I'm gonna parlay something, I like to get the absolute best value.
Mm-hmm.
So like just give us a follow for that kind of thing. A lot of percentages and statistics come out Friday night and Saturday, so
and injuries too. Injury reports too.
Injuries too.
Like that's why I like to make my bets on Friday. So you guys are listening to this on Saturday morning. So in full transparency, I go through all the lines on Friday afternoon, right when all the injury stuff is coming out, and it's before lines have updated. The sharp guys, they're on it like instantly. They get those updates from the NFL on the practice reports or whatever, and they're hammering their bets, and it can move some of the lines. But it takes a couple hours and overnight for some of those shifts to kind of set in. So I like getting it right. Like one of the bets that I really like this week is the Josh Downs under yardage, because Josh Downs might not even play in this game. And I don't know what that would happen with that. Like, would DraftKings void that?
Probably, because in something like a situation like that, we would have caught them slipping, and they'll be like, "Oh, no."
Right.
If it's in their favor, like they'll be like, "Yep, Lloyd, you won't."
Yeah. So, but I could also see at the same time him playing and then going out early in that one. So, that's those are the kind of things, because it came out today that Josh Downs might not even play. And at the same time, you look at the all the Arizona stuff against the Browns. The reason why I stayed away from that one completely is because Kyler Murray is going to Arizona to Cleveland with the team, and he might start. And if Kyler Murray starts, it's a game. You know what I mean? Like, Watson's supposed to start, but he could leave in the first quarter again. And then all of a sudden you've got, PJ Walker or DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson against Kyler Murray. And this looks very good for Arizona at that point. So I don't want to bet that at all. You know what I mean? So things will update and change by the time you guys are listening to this, but just something to think about. If you're looking at placing bets, get the lines on Thursday, Friday, and bet them then. Because if you know stuff, they do not update that quickly. But any last thoughts, Sam?
Nope.
Yeah, all right.
It's gonna be a good week to watch.
Yeah, that'll be something to. Yeah, it's gonna be a good week of football. It's starting to get cold out, so getting near the holidays, but yeah, I'm ready for Christmas. It's coming up. It's coming up for sure. So
ready for Christmas? That's odd, since you can't even tell me what you want for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. I told you 1/5 of a PlayStation 5.
Makes literally no sense.
It's called a gift card. You dumbass.
You want a gift card?
Yeah, for 1/5 of a PS5, and in 5 years I'll have 5 of them, and I can buy a PS5.
The fuck? Because of Spider-Man 2?
I don't know. I would play that on the computer when it comes out probably, but yeah, gift it on Steam. That's what you can do. Gift it on Steam. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for listening to us ramble here today. Thank you guys for joining us and checking out our bets. Hopefully you guys like them. Again, we're trying to give fun bets while also making bets that are going to help you guys make money. So, plus it gives me a chance to just hang out with my sister for a little while here. So it's just a fun time. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let us know your thoughts on Twitter again at FF After Dark, at TDC_Calvin, and at SamTims99. And if you're looking for any Dynasty or Fantasy Football content, make sure you check out the channel, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Hit us up, and we're happy to help you guys. So don't ask Sam for any of her fantasy opinions. She's very bad at Dynasty, so that's what I've
so
gotten
bad at Dynasty. My team's so bad. Yep. Everyone's for sale.
Yep. So she's
Let's
really
go,
bad.
Joey B.
She's really bad at Dynasty, but so make sure you guys talk to me on that. But that said, thank you guys for joining us. And until next time, make sure you guys have a great night.
And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?